Piracy in deep space. Infamous outlaw Hondo Ohnaka attacks a Jedi transport carrying 6 younglings who just received their lightsaber crystals. So rare are these crystals that Hondo knows he can sell them on the black market for a small fortune. In a desperate attempt to save the younglings, Ahsoka Tano is captured by Hondo and his pirate horde. Now, with a damaged ship, the younglings are stranded and alone.
Greetings, Bucketheads! Mavar Tigar. Welcome to the 168th dangerously daring and deceiving episode of Mando Vision. Nargai Tom, and thank you so much for checking out this small, independent Star Wars podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. New listeners, welcome aboard. Old listeners, welcome back. We're so glad you're all here and along for the ride with us as we work our way through Season 5 of Star Wars The Clone Wars. And it has been quite a rewatch so far. So glad you're here for the fun. Remember, the best way to reach out to us is, of course, via social media. We are at Mando_Vision on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show at mandovisiontom@gmail.com. Please make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, and sharing this show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. All right, we're back. We're here. It's episode 8 of Season 5. We are continuing our journey with the younglings. They've been waylaid on their way back to Coruscant, back to the Jedi Temple after discovering, finding, obtaining their kyber crystals to form their first lightsabers. And it's been. I think this has been a really fun arc so far, kind of getting to see what this process is like from the perspective of a youngling, going to Ilum to get the crystals, putting them all together, finding out that maybe they're not. It's not going to be as easy as they think to just assemble these lightsabers and do whatever they want with them. But also imbuing the lightsabers with touches of their personalities, of their characteristics. So I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. This episode, we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger in the last one. Ahsoka taken prisoner by Hondo Ohnaka, and now we get to see the rescue attempt by these younglings. And it's I like this episode as much as I like the other ones, but this one's got some sillier elements to it, and we will definitely be talking about those sillier elements as they come up in the course of the episode. There's one image that I just can't get out of my head, and that is of a highly intoxicated Hondo Ohnaka sailing through the air, blissfully unaware that he's been deceived by Jedi younglings. And we will talk about all these things in more detail as we dive into things proper. But let's go ahead and kind of get to the bona fides of this episode, right? This is, as we said at the beginning, Season 5, Episode 8, Bound for Rescue. Original air date November 17th, 2012. Our plot for this week: Hondo has failed to capture the kyber crystals, but does hold Ahsoka as a prisoner. The younglings form a plan to infiltrate the pirate hideout on Florum. This week's episode, directed once again by Brian O'Connell and written by Christian Taylor. Our principal voice cast this week, a lot of familiar faces from the previous 2 episodes. Jeffrey Todd Fisher is Petro. Jim Cummings is Hondo Ohnaka. Olivia Hack is Katuni. Stephen Stanton is Priego, I believe, is the correct pronunciation of that. James Arnold Taylor is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ashley Eckstein is Ahsoka Tano. D. Bradley Baker as the Clone Troopers, Biff and Commander Cody. Matthew Wood is the Battle Droids and General Grievous. Georgie Kidder is Kennedy. Greg Sipes is Zat. Greg Baldwin is Guarm. Tom Kane is our narrator. And yes, you heard that correct. In the middle of this arc, as we think this episode is going to be focusing on the rescue of Ahsoka Tano, not so fast, my friends. We get the Clone Wars interrupting said rescue with Grievous and battle droids and all kinds of stuff going on with the clones. So a lot of things happening in this one to I don't know, occupy our hero's time, because as we start, it's supposed to be an episode. Well, let's put it this way: the younglings they do the proper thing. They call for help, right? And it's Obi-Wan Kenobi who says, "No, don't do anything. You stay put. I'm going to handle this." But of course, that's right when General Grievous springs into action and launches his own counterattack against these Republic forces, and shenanigans ensue, and it forces the younglings into action, and again, shenanigans ensue. Our Jedi fortune cookie this week: when we rescue others, we rescue ourselves. Again, they're kind of on the nail on the head with some of these at the moment. I think we see where they're going with this. But again, obviously the rescue of Ahsoka, the sort of what do I want to use as the not like rising of these younglings of these into Padawans necessarily, but sort of finding themselves, finding their comfort level with their abilities, and trusting themselves, and forming something of a team here. That's sort of an interesting way to look at their development in this particular episode of the show. But I have promised myself that I would not ramble in the opening of this episode. So let's just get right to it, all right? Let's go ahead and dive in. You know what that means. It's time. Strap on your buckets. Let's go.
The pirate Hondo has attacked and severely damaged our ship and taken our chaperone, Ahsoka Tano.
I'm dispatching Commander Cody to bring you back. We shall deal with Hondo on Florum.
Will Ahsoka be all right?
Hondo would be even more of a fool than I think he is to hurt her. Once we've picked you up, we'll focus on rescuing Ahsoka.
But we can help Ahsoka a lot sooner than you can.
You've shown great bravery, but these pirates...
It was us who managed to drive them from the ship.
You will not jeopardize your safety trying to be heroes. Understood?
Yes, Master.
Their coordinates put them dangerously close to Florum. I do not want them getting any ideas. You'll need to leave quickly, Cody.
Sir, enemy fleet's coming out of hyperspace.
Battle stations, launch all fighters. Cody, looks like you're staying here for now.
So there's Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of laying it all out in a nutshell, what he wants to have happen and what the reality of the situation is going to be. He wants to keep the younglings safe. They've done enough, but it's time for Cody to step in there and get the kids out of danger, get to Florum. They'll deal with Hondo themselves. But Grievous will not allow it to come to pass, as he finds this a ideal opportunity to strike at the nearest ship in the area, which happens to be General Kenobi. So there you go. I like how it's laid out. I like how it's pretty straightforward, and we know that already this right here at the very beginning of the episode, we're setting things in motion here that Kenobi's not coming to the rescue, that it's going to be on the younglings to come up with a plan to to swing into action and to rescue Ahsoka. And they're really in this episode, I think, for the purpose of the story, they do this thing where even their robot mentor, their instructor, Huang, is completely sidelined. We hear not from him once in this entire episode. So they're left to their own devices, and it's sort of Petro who steps up to kind of lead and guide this kind of I don't want to say it's a completely bananas plan, but hey, it is a plan of younglings who are inexperienced and but highly confident, especially under the leadership of Petro. What we get next from after that sequence is really a beautiful sequence of the younglings using the Force to assemble their lightsabers, kind of completing what they started out on in the first episode. And we're seeing Petro, we're seeing Gunji, we're seeing Biff, use the Force to put theirs together. Gnodi's having some issues with hers, but she's going to work that out. They're going to sort that. But it's a really nice sequence. Like the music they play in it, it's all very lovely. And seeing the way that they assemble their lightsabers is pretty cool. I really did enjoy that sequence. But now we're going to sort of figure out why they want to move forward, why they're little, they're kids, they're impulsive, they're bored. You can't just keep them on a derelict ship, drifting through the cosmos, idling, waiting for something to happen. No. Petro's like, hey, this is taking a really long time. Maybe it's time we do something.
Seeing as how our rescue party has forgotten us, you'll have plenty of time.
They probably just got delayed.
Delayed? Ahsoka needs our help, and we're sitting around like children.
We are children.
I vote we mount a rescue mission. Gunji is with me. Biff? That's 3 votes for and
1 against.
I really like how Biff, the one who was scared, the Ithorian, who was, had to deal with his fear and overcoming his fear, now buoyed with confidence, filled with confidence, is like, yeah, let's go, let's fight. I got a lightsaber now, let's do some damage. But again, it's a vote, it's a democracy, right? Well, here come the rest of our younglings to sway the vote.
perfect timing.
There's a problem with the ship. What kind of problem?
Breaking away from the pirate ship ruptured the entire filtering system.
What does that mean?
It means she's venting coolant, and if we don't land soon, the engines will explode. We'll have to land and let the system reset.
Then it's settled. If we stay out here, we'll die. We go to Florum, let the engines cool, and rescue Ahsoka.
A rescue mission?
R2's in favor. And R2's the one who's reassembling Huang at this point. His head's on, his lights are on. You'd think he might pipe up and say something, but for storytelling purposes, he does not. But again, R2's on board for a rescue mission. He's going to be A-okay with all of that stuff. So that makes it very, very interesting, especially when we start to see what the heck are these kids going to come up with to rescue Ahsoka from Hondo and the pirates. I want to call back to the last episode where we saw a Hondo who was a fairly ruthless Hondo compared to our other interactions with him. He seemed a lot more desperate, a lot more willing to take chances, and didn't seem to have a whole lot of problem with the idea of hurting children. This episode, we sort of shift back from that for reasons, and we'll talk about those as they begin to take shape. And speaking of Hondo, let's go ahead and check in back at the pirate hideout on Florum. As Ahsoka's, she's going to try to be Ahsoka here. And Hondo doesn't have much time for it.
It would be wise if you would let me go.
No, it would be unprofitable if I would let you go. And why would I do something as short-sighted as that?
If you don't let me go, you will wish you had been born a protocol droid.
Sometimes I do anyway. But you are really in no position to make threats, young lady. You look stressed. Are you thirsty? A drink, perhaps? Up. Sorry, but I do not like to share.
So yeah, Hondo's being he's still kind of being a butt, for lack of a better word. Not being a super nice guy here. Won't even let Ahsoka get a sippy sip. And but I did like the bit where he talks about how he wishes he was born a protocol droid sometimes. Because, hey, why not? The life of a pirate, we've all seen the movies. We're not going to go there. Let's not do that. So at this point, we cut back to the battle. We see more of Grievous's forces attacking Kenobi and the Republic, and it's a great action sequence. We see some some spaceship combat, which is always very, very exciting. We get to see the Separatist army mount a boarding mission onto the Republic cruiser, and Grievous springs into action once again against his arch nemesis, General Obi-Wan Kenobi. And this sequence is particularly violent. The way that Grievous is flinging these clone troopers around, by the way, to just take note. And you'll hear the sound effects of what he does to one clone trooper in particular. A fairly violent sequence here as the clones are just getting massacred by the droid army at this point.
You'll regret that.
Alright, so more battle ensues. So meanwhile, our young Padawans are taking their ship, landing on Florum. They have to stay a ways back. They don't really know where they're going. They're kind of stumbling through things. Ganodi is going to stay on board the ship because she's dealing with pilot training, so she can help them evacuate. And R2 is staying behind as well to repair Huang, which, again, I mean, R2's proven himself to be a pretty valuable asset to have in some of these fights. I'm not sure I would be like, hey, R2, stay here and reassemble another droid for me. I don't know if that's the priority necessarily. But again, we're supposed to be focusing on these Padawans and them taking their first steps into a larger world, if you will. So I guess they have to kind of stumble their way into those first steps. So they're going to be walking on Florum. Petro has admitted as much that he's trying to figure out what the rescue plan is going to be as he goes along. He's kind of flying by the seat of his pants, if you will. And now let's go back to Hondo and Ahsoka in the pirate hideout. As you know, I just really enjoy the way they banter back and forth.
You know the Republic won't pay a ransom for me, and the Separatists can't be trusted. They'll betray you and kill us both.
Yes, I know this, my dear. The Separatists are no friends of mine. Don't ask me why, but Dooku holds such a grudge against me since our little I held him hostage affair. The truth is, I have my sights set on more nefarious criminals than I. A businessman who will pay handsomely for a Jedi. A female Jedi at that.
You don't scare me, Hondo.
Oh, by the way, they don't care if you're dead or alive. I mean, I prefer alive, less messy. But I find my mood so changeable these days.
So the biggest thing I have to say about that exchange right there is I really want to know who this buyer is that wants a female Jedi but doesn't care if they're alive or dead. I really want to know more about who this person is because they sound like a total creep, and I need details. I need the information right now. What kind of scumbag wants a female Jedi but doesn't have a preference whether she's alive or dead? Yee, creepazoid. Anyways, after this sequence, we go back to the battle on the Republic the Republic cruiser. Grievous and Kenobi engaged once again in a vicious lightsaber battle, only just teasing what will come in The Revenge of the Sith in Episode 3. So yes, let's go ahead and check that out.
This is General Kenobi. Abandon ship! Abandon ship!
Sir, shouldn't we stay and fight? We can't lose the ship now.
Cody, the ship is already lost. We must face it. You and I are going to give Grievous a little parting gift.
And parting gifts are so wonderful when Kenobi gives them to Grievous. But back on Florum, before we even get to the parting gift, we have to check in on the younglings who have stumbled across a traveling circus, Priego's traveling circus, and they approach Priego to make an offer. Priego is a Doug with a very fancy mustache and a menagerie of familiar Star Wars creatures or species that we've seen throughout the width and duration of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So yeah, it's kind of a fun little callback to some of the other species that we visited over the 5 seasons of the show. But let's go ahead and hear the younglings pitch to Priego.
Sir? Are we to understand you are on your way to the pirates' stronghold?
Yes, what's it to you? Who are you? How did you get out here?
Sir, our ship crashed and we've been stranded, but our misfortune is to your benefit.
Oh, really? And how is that, my curious friend?
We are acrobats, entertainers. We would love to join your act and travel with you to your next destination.
Really? All of you wish to join my act, huh? Right. You would like to come with us when we go to entertain Hondo and his pirate horde?
Very much so. Yes.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. The pirates are an unforgiving audience. I couldn't possibly... What the... How did you... Oh, my. Artist, true artiste. Young man, how many of these tricks can you do?
So the Jedi, sorry, excuse me, the younglings are dazzling Priego with their various skills of, I guess, acrobat-like maneuvers that their Jedi abilities allow them to do, right? They can use the Force, they're agile, they're jumpies, and again, you have the strength of Gunji propping them all up, which is not too bad either. So it's, again, this is sort of a weird little thing they got going on here, but it kind of, it works. Like they're gonna con Priego, catch a ride, and they will disguise themselves in front of Hondo and his horde. So yeah, it makes for an interesting way to infiltrate the pirate base at this point. And I do sort of like Priego's initial reluctance to take the kids to the pirate base. Makes you think that maybe he's not a complete total scumbag, because we kind of hear him allude that, oh, the pirates, they're an unforgiving horde, I believe is what he says. And this is talked about later on when I guess one of Priego's acts didn't go so well, and all those people in his circus were killed by said pirates. So initially reluctant until he sees the display put on by the Padawans at this point, and is immediately impressed by their skills and grace and all that good stuff. All right, meanwhile, back in space, Grievous and his forces have taken control of the bridge. They are going to try and access every piece of information from the databanks of the ship, but Kenobi deploys a message.
General Grievous, you have defeated me and taken control of my ship. Congratulations. However, if you're watching this message, that means I'm boarding an escape pod and shall soon be safely away from the ship, which is about to self-destruct. General Grievous, you have defeated me.
And then we get the clones and the rest of the Republic forces evacuating, getting to their escape pods, and gonna go make a big boom with the ship to teach the Separatists that they're not just gonna take over the ship and get all that information. No. They're classic. This is a. It's sort of funny. I like how the tables turn here in this instance, right? Very oftentimes throughout the run of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, it's Grievous making these last-ditch escapes and just narrowly escaping the clutches of the Jedi, right? Potential death or destruction at the hands of the Jedi, capture at the hands of the Jedi, and he makes some ridiculous escape. Now it's Kenobi who's kind of the one making like the last-minute escape. And avoiding capture from Grievous's forces. So I sort of like how that table is turned. And then, making your ship go self-destruct, it's a very Star Trek kind of maneuver, and I respect it. So good on Kenobi for making sure that the ship will not stay in enemy hands for too long. And as usual, Grievous does make a more cowardly escape than others as he pushes every other droid out of the way so that he can escape and live to fight another day. As the escape pods are going away from the exploding Republic cruiser, I like this little bit of a sequence here between the little scene here between Commander Cody and Obi-Wan as they realize that now there's no hope to get to the Padawans. They are truly on their own.
I'm afraid the younglings are now on their own.
I misspoke. I think I've been saying Padawans a lot. I meant younglings. Younglings, gosh darn it. But now the younglings, they have made their way to the pirate hideout with Priego's traveling circus, and they are prepared to dazzle a very, very inebriated Hondo Ohnaka and his pirate horde. So a lot of back and forth between Priego and Hondo, as again, we're sort of establishing that history between the traveling circus and the pirate horde. Hondo talks about having to remove the heads of many of Priego's previous performers. But again, Hondo sort of, inebriated and is ready for a show.
Where is my Jedi? I would hate for her to miss the show, which I'm hoping will be better than last time. Excellent! Let the show begin!
Yes, of course. Yeah, may I present?
Before he presents, I do want to mention the gonk droid that brings the drinks, and then Hondo kicks it over. Love me a gonk droid. Not gonna lie, big fan of the gonk droid. All right, let's let Priego do his thing.
The animal instincts.
All right, so here come our Padawans, and I want to mention real quick that they're wearing these masks and wearing disguises because again, remember Hondo's seen them. So Zat is in the guise of a Rancor. Petro has a Gundark mask, and Gunji is a Narglak. So take note of those in case you were curious. All right, but yeah, they're about to put on a display, put on a show, distract the pirates at any cost so that they can get their lightsabers that Hondo has on his belt and rescue Ahsoka Tano. So the younglings bring out like a little bit of a barrel and a plank, do a little catapulty flingy fling thing, and now they get to their part of the plan, which is again, I am amused by this. Don't get me wrong, but it's so ludicrous that I can't help but chuckle as I think about what is about to happen. Let's bear witness.
Well, what is this business?
Yeah, I believe he wants you to be a part of the next stunt.
Oh, does he now?
Come with us.
Which one of you said that? I may not be as young as I once was, but I'm older.
Stand right here.
Who wants to see those books? Talk to me. Hey!
All right, so as Hondo's dancing around, he's getting those lightsabers pickpocketed from him. Again, Hondo is so drunk in the shenanigans led up by these Twi'lek girls to the stage who aren't part of the plan, and Priego's not a part of the plan either. But they seem to be improvising. They seem to be like, oh yeah, let's risk Hondo's life here. This seems like a great idea. They seem all on board for it, no matter even if they're not even aware of what the younglings intend to do. So let's let it continue. Okay, so now we have Biff from a very great height. He's going to do some pretty sweet moves, some super twirly swirly gumdroppy things, and plunge down onto the plank to send Hondo soaring through the sky. Also, a Gamorrean guard is in clown regalia in this episode too, so take note of that, particularly in this sequence. And again, I can only assume that the younglings got the rest of the circus act on board with what they were going to do, because they got all the music going on, they got the whole production sort of on board with everything, right? So it must have happened en route to Hondo's place, right? That's the only thing I can imagine at this point. But let's see what happens. And I like the Gamorrean guard in the clown makeup looking super scared for what could happen next.
You guys shouldn't be here. Don't worry. We have a plan.
I think.
I'm flying!
No.
What did they think was going to happen as Hondo goes flying through the air to crash into a bunch of stuff and a wall and fall to the floor? And now Priego's freaking out.
Not again. Oh.
But this is the distraction they need. They're going to free Ahsoka, and the goodness will ensue, I suppose, right? But oh boy. Oh, Hondo, the alcohol. It always gets you in trouble, doesn't it? I like this little bit here where the other pirates are helping Hondo to his feet. Let's check this out real quick, because again, more Hondo making me laugh.
Oh, well, that was a good act. Oh. It says bleeding Jedi, kids. What? The children are Jedi. Oh.
All right, so now they got to get out of there. And another really cool moment is about to happen here on the show. And it's when Ahsoka turns around to start deflecting the blaster fire from the pirates. And as she turns around to engage her twin blades, the Padawans, the 3 Padawans who've assembled their lightsabers, engage theirs as well. So it's a really neat sequence to see them fire up their blades at roughly the same time. And it's Ahsoka not alone anymore. Like, she has younglings who can now defend themselves and are able to help her, aid her in batting back blaster bolts. That is a lot of alliteration, and I love it. So, so a fun sequence here as the pirates engage. Priego's freaking out. They're going to make their escape on a big giant speeder. The pirates will pursue, and Hondo, sort of slowly getting his wits back about himself.
What is going on?
Where's my Jedi? Someone stop them! Hurry, Guarm! Get after them!
I know how you feel. You lost your master, and I lost my Jedi.
So, yeah. So Priego's giant. I don't even have the words. It's just ridiculous. This episode has got some ridiculous things to it that just amuse me to no end. And I can't help it. I sort of like Star Wars when it's a little silly, and for some reason this level of silly kind of works for me. It hits me in the right spots. Let's just go ahead and check in with Ahsoka and the younglings as they make their way back to their downed Jedi cruiser.
How do you feel? Better now. I could pretend to be angry, but you were all very brave. Thank you.
We disobeyed orders.
Well, I've learned from my master that sometimes doing the right thing means bending the rules.
Kennedy, come in, please. Get the ship ready. We need to take off.
There you go. That's where we end this installment, this 3rd chapter in this younglings journey. And yeah, I'm delighted where it's going, but I think you know where we're headed. We've allowed the Clone Wars to infiltrate this storyline. That means that we've not seen the last of Grievous. We've not seen the last of the droid armies, and the battle for Florum will begin yet again in the next installment of the show. I'm looking forward to watching it. I just sort of know where we're going with it. I have not actually sat down to watch it at this particular point, so I can't wait to be surprised by what we see. And I'm really having fun with this. It's interesting to think. I know I've alluded to it before, but season 5 is very arc based, right? And we had the first episode, picking up with Maul and that whole thing, but then we went into the big Onderon arc. Now we're into this big youngling arc, and it's only a matter of time. We get the big droid arc, I believe, next, and then after that, the huge Mandalorian arc. So it's just arc after arc, just really. I was going to say powerful, but like not every arc is powerful in that sense, but they're very enjoyable. They're very, they're telling the story they want to tell, and they're telling it to completion, to a fullness, right? But it's also connecting a lot of dots. It's bringing a lot of things together. And in this arc in particular, it's showing us a youngling's journey, which is not something we got to spend a lot of time with, because by and large, for most of us, we see Anakin inducted into the Jedi Order at the end of Phantom Menace. He begins his Padawan braid and all this stuff, but his journey as a youngling, as a Padawan, we don't see a ton of it. It's so to sort of see this beginning period of a Jedi's journey, putting the lightsaber together, and sort of all that goes along with that, and sort of the discovering of themselves, the building of their confidence. I really, really enjoy that aspect of it. It's been a lot of fun, and now believe we're gonna see the culmination of that in the 4th installment of this younglings arc, and I can't wait to bring that to you guys. So, I really enjoyed this episode. It's one of the lower rated from this particular arc of episodes, and in the season in particular, but I'm okay with that, because I think by and large, I'm a softer mark. I'm an easy target. I enjoy some of the silliness when Star Wars allows itself to be a little silly, so I have no problem whatsoever getting into a little silliness and seeing Hondo Ohnaka soar through the air, and not really think much about it. I'm okay with all of it. So, yeah, I give it 7.5 buckets for sure. And you could maybe even persuade me to 8 if you catch me in the right mood and I'm just chuckling to myself, having a good time watching Hondo be silly and watching Biff the Ithorian, in my opinion, kind of steals this episode from his outfit to the way he carries himself to the little production he puts on as an acrobat. He's sort of like the unsung hero of this episode. So pay attention to Biff when you watch this one. He is a delight. And again, an Ithorian Jedi. How much fun is that? So I love it. I love it so much. All right, let's go ahead and begin with our thank yous. All right, I want to thank the official members of the the official Mandovision Maniacs, I should say, which you can become over at patreon.com/Mandovision. You can sign up and hang out, get sweet bonus content. And oh my goodness, I am botching this so badly. Holy smokes. Thank you to our current Patreons. Thank you to our current Maniacs. The Aspinall Chody, the Batman Abejo, Jeff Nail. Jeff is co-hosting on The Ring in Air, a great music podcast that I wish would come out more often. Thanks to Evil Circle, the evilest of all circles, the Squid Master General, Mr. Brian Broussard, the New Jersey Devil, Mark Wagner, our very own Joker and Harley Quinn, Brian and Krista of Pride Brewing, right here in San Diego, and Baltimore, Maryland, the Beer Hop Brigadier General, Jesus Beer Hops, the silent assassin, he who shall not be named, and Syndicate Ram, co-host of Come On, It's Still Good, a great movie podcast that is coming out all the time. So check them out. I appreciate you all supporting our supporters. So thank you for doing that. Reminder, we are on social media at Mando_Vision on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show at mandovisiontom@gmail.com. Please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share this show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. If you want to support the show, but you can't be a Mandovision maniac, and you're like, well, what else can I do besides share the show? Sweet 5-star reviews. They help small independent shows like us stand out, not get lost in the shuffle. And we truly appreciate everyone who takes the time to do that. So thank you. So many ways to help the show. And again, you are awesome people if you do that. Love you. We'll wrap it up for the day. I can't wait to come back for our next installment. I think by this point, I don't want to say too much. I got some plans. There'll be some different episodes mixed in here with our Star Wars The Clone Wars stuff. I won't tease them right now because I'm not quite sure where they're going to fall into the calendar, but get excited for some other stuff that's coming up. That'll be not just be about Star Wars: The Clone Wars cartoon. I got some other things to talk about, so we're going to get some special episodes out very soon. All right. Remember, be great Star Wars fans. Support each other. Be there for each other. Be kind to each other, and just embrace the differences in Star Wars fandom, and make sure people feel welcome here. That's what our Star Wars fandom is all about, and be that person. Be that person who brings more in, who welcomes more, even if you disagree with their stance or opinion, their favorite Star Wars movie. It's okay. There's Star Wars for everyone. There is Star Wars for everyone. It is like a smorgasbord of deliciousness, and you find your favorite thing, and you just go back to your favorite thing, and you may be like, I don't want the sardines. Keep the sardines away from me. You don't have to have the sardines. It's all right. We're all good. It's Star Wars. You can have Star Wars without hold the sardines. You'll be just fine. All right. So again, keep that in mind. Be great fans. Be great to each other. And we will be back very soon. Remember, this podcast can only end one way. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way. You expect me to search the galaxy for the home of this creature and deliver it to a race of enemy sorcerers?
This is the way.